How's it going? Hey, there we go. It says I'm live again. Now I just have to wait for some people to get here. I think it's working. It says I am live. Right? Hang on. Sorry. Oh, oopsie. You're live. Here I am. Oh, there we go. Somebody's there. So it means it's working. Perfect. Hey. Hello, Michelle. Hi, Crystal. And my hubby. Sorry. Hi, Donna. Put on. No thanks. Hi, Cassandra. Hi, sister. Sup to you too. Hello, Melody. So one thing I didn't do last time in my live video was explain who I was and what I do, which during the live one, obviously you all know who I am, but if you're sharing it or something later, nice, Mike. Mike does actually have popcorn, my husband. That's why he's commenting popcorn. If you're sharing it and somebody else, one of your friends watches it, they are not going to know who I am or really what I do. So I am, my name's Amber. I'm the West Coast medium. I am a medium, which means I can connect with people who have crossed over. Hi, Jackie. I'm an empath, so spirit can make me see, feel, hear, and sense things that other people can't. I can also feel everything the people that are around me are feeling, and pretty much anything anyone's feeling most of the time. I'm also what I call spiritually intuitive. Others would say is psychic, because there's no sense of time or space. On the other side, spirit can provide guidance or show me memories of the past if it's going to mean something to you. I'm also a medical intuitive, although I'm cautious with that and careful with it, because I would never like to tell anything to somebody that might scare them. So I make sure that it's something that should be said and not something that you're not necessarily supposed to know, if that makes sense. Hello, I'm assuming this is Tammy, but Vincent and Tammy. It says, hi, Coral. All right, the questions are starting, so I'll just, my last gift is I'm a healer, although I really reserve that for family and friends. So what I'm going to do is I can only see a few comments here. I don't know how to see all of them at once. I can see my big face. So I'll read through some questions and answer questions for y'all, probably for about an hour. So I started at 6:30, so I'll try and go for about an hour. Okay, so Melody says, how can I tell the difference between an illness I chose to keep and learn from in this lifetime and an illness that I am able to heal and not have to deal with for my whole life? That's a really good question. I don't know if you're not me, if you actually can know the difference, because then you wouldn't really be learning as much. So I think, sorry, if I look to the side, I let my guides stand in the corner of the room, and so my guides and then a couple other helping guides are here, and so I'll look to the corner of the room, and that's where I communicate with them. But I think you don't really know until you don't have the illness anymore if it's something you were supposed to learn from and have it go away. And that's why I'm cautious with the healing, because with some people, I can do really well healing them, especially if it has to do with energy. Usually that I can do fairly easily. But if it's an illness or a chronic problem or something like that, I can try and heal them. But if they're meant to have it and they're meant to go through it, it's not going to work. No matter what I do, no matter how many spirits help me, it's not going to work. But if it's something that you're just meant to go through for a little bit of time, or something you're meant to heal from, then it'll work. You can heal it. So I don't know if there is really an answer. I don't know if that's the best answer, but I guess it's an answer all the same. Hello, Wendy. Hi, Lori. Oh, hey, Rick. Even though you didn't talk, I see you joined. So yeah, keep the questions coming. Since I don't see any more questions right at the second, I'll mention again that I am doing my very, very first live event in Nanaimo at the Nanaimo Golf Club on May 18th. There are still 20-something tickets available. I think I've sold quite a lot, so 23 or 4 tickets available still. So if you want your tickets for that, I'm having a feeling they'll be sold out pretty quick here. So yeah, I'd love for everybody to be there. Donna asks, if you do have an illness or pain and you feel you learned the lesson, does it go away? Don't we wish? No, not necessarily. Because even thinking that you have learned the lesson means you probably haven't really learned the lesson. No, unfortunately, when you have chosen a lesson to learn in this life, you will continuously be presented with opportunities to continue to learn that lesson. So no, I have a friend who always says, like, I feel like I'm done learning. Like, I've friggin' gone through the same things enough. I'm done learning. But just thinking that way means no, you actually have some more to learn. Oh, you're welcome, Melody. I'm glad that helped a little. Melody also, since we live all of our lives at the same time, do I have the same main guide for all of those lifetimes? I don't know the answer to that. They say no. You can have different guides participate in different ways. You may have the same guide for some of your lives, and some of them you might not if you're learning different things, because the guides really do kind of specialize in certain areas. So no, you won't. You can, for lots of your lives, have the same guides, but definitely not across the board. Every single life is the same guides. Sammy says, I am anxious to know about future partner. Can you give advice? Sorry, Sammy, are you meaning like a romantic relationship? You might have to clarify that one. Lisa says, will you come to Port Alberni for a group reading? You know, I don't know. I think I'm going to, if it's a smaller group, probably not. I don't really travel for, 4, 5, 6 people because I have young kids at home and my husband works away, in case you don't know that already. So it's a bit of a haul for me to be able to get out. But the big group like I'm doing, that definitely, if this goes well, I'd love to kind of travel around and do a few of those. I could go up island, down island, maybe on the mainland. My sister lives over there, although she moved today even further away. But yeah, I think that could be kind of fun to travel around and do that, if that's what you mean. If you mean like a smaller reading, like just a few people, I don't know. That would be difficult. I prefer people come to me, to my house. I have space, for 5 people just at the table I'm sitting at, 6 including me. Marie asks, is there one person we are meant to spend our life with, as in one true love? Sometimes there is a person you have chosen that you are going to spend your life with when you plan this life. But as far as soulmates, if that's kind of the idea you're thinking of, I actually talked about this the other day with somebody. Soulmates usually aren't the bonds you think they are. They're not usually your romantic partner. They're a very close soul bond on the other side, and normally you mean a lot more to each other than like your partner in this life. And a lot of the times you don't live at the same time as your like closest soul bonds. You kind of sometimes one half has to be there because that's a lot of like passion to have in one place. But definitely there is like meant to be kind of stuff because you do plan certain things. But I see more relationships more as like waves that exist, and sometimes your wave really works well with somebody else's and sometimes it doesn't. They're pro marriage. They're not saying, we shouldn't be monogamous kind of thing, but it's more, it's not necessarily, I don't know, the whole soulmate partner thing where this is the only person you're meant to be with forever. Not as much. There's many people you have strong bonds with that you could potentially have a relationship with. Nadine says, can you explain your take on good or bad? Is there both kinds of spirits? How would you protect from bad? My take on good and bad is it exists here in the human world. On the other side, it doesn't exist. So everything on the other side is good. Love, light, acceptance, forgiveness, healing, all of those things. But in the human world, yes, there's definitely good, bad, happy, sad, love, hate. All of that exists here. I don't protect myself from bad spirits because I've never felt one. I've felt lower energy spirits. So I've explained this in my YouTube videos. If you guys don't know, I have a YouTube channel too, West Coast Medium. But to make those videos is actually a lot more work than this. This, I just sit down and I do it. Those, we have to plan it out. I have to have somebody else with me asking me questions. We have to try and work a camera, which I suck at. So yeah, you can check out some other videos there if you want to kind of more in-depth answers. But as far as bad spirits, I've never met one. So it's hard for me to believe that bad could exist in a place that doesn't exist. There's lower level spirits that maybe interact with us in a way that might scare us or be uncomfortable. But you just tell them to leave you alone if you're not comfortable with it, and they'll listen, because regardless of what level they're in on the other side, they're innately good. And I think that's hard for us to understand. I think that makes a lot of people angry when I say that some of the people that we wish would be punished could be good, that at the core of who they are, their souls actually are good. It's hard to understand, but no, I've never met bad spirits. If you do feel something not good around you, you just ask them to leave you alone, and they will. Let's see. Ida Kingsnorth says, I haven't been able to dream about my husband since he passed. But sometimes there's reasons for that. You may have dreamed about him and not know. You won't remember. Sometimes you're not quite ready. Sometimes your energy isn't quite there. My husband, who's watching, wishes so hard every single day that he could dream about his mom like I have. Well, I get to feel her around now, but I think sometimes it's just not meant to be in that moment. And if you're concentrating on it so much, a lot of the times you'll prevent it actually from happening. So just try and relax and try and just really be open to any type of way that he wants to communicate with you or come forward. And it's not always in your dreams. But pay attention if you are having a dream and you do finally see him. If he's not interacting with you and he's just kind of standing there and you want to go talk to him and you can't, that usually is a visitation. That's him coming through in a dream. If you can talk to him, have a relationship with him and communicate, most of the time that's you just dreaming of him, have memories and stuff like that. So yeah, there's differences in the way you dream, but sometimes, unfortunately, yeah, that's not the way they choose to communicate. Vince and Tammy Cole says, I am curious how you got the confidence to offer your gifts to others. Yeah, I didn't really. I was not interested. My whole life, I knew it was there. I didn't like it. I didn't want people to think I was crazy. I tried my hardest for people to not think I was crazy. I have one sister who knew I hated being called crazy, so anytime we got in a fight, that's the first thing she said to me. But my husband actually heard a little spirit that was in my room, and because he heard it and he could actually vouch for people that I'm not crazy, it was a little bit easier to come forward. I also always knew there was something different about me, but I didn't necessarily, so I knew they were there. I didn't know how to have a back and forth conversation with them. I just knew they were there. So that day I learned how to have a back and forth conversation, and once it started, I couldn't turn it off, really. It just went like wildfire. But even in that was in December. It was February before I told my close friends even. Like I talked to my family, but I didn't tell my close friends. It was February before I really made it known that, okay, like I'm getting comfortable with this and I'm okay with kind of people knowing that this is what's going on for me. It was a huge process. And even, I think, in that first 6 months, I probably called friends and family members, I don't even know, dozens of times, and said, I can't do this. It's too much responsibility. I feel really overwhelmed. Is this what my life is going to be like? Because at first it was actually quite overwhelming. Spirit bugged me all the time. Like I never got a moment of peace because they were excited and I didn't know how to filter it. So that first 6 months, even now still sometimes I go, is this my life? Like it feels really strange that this is my life. But I'm grateful for it now, at least. The rest of my life, I wasn't so much. Echo Blackwood says, if you have had a fair amount of people in your life that have passed, how do spirits decide who will come forward in readings? Are you able to ask for certain spirits to come forward? So for me, usually there's 2 or 3 standing in the front and then countless people standing in the back. And usually they choose who comes forward. It's not always the very first person that you would want to talk to first, because sometimes you're concentrating so much on that person that a couple other people will come forward to break the ice and get you to relax a little. But pretty much always I get to the person that you really want to talk to. I don't know if there's been a time, not that anybody's told me that I haven't. Once in a while, though, if I know I'm not getting there and I've talked to a couple of people and I can still feel that there's somebody you really want to talk to, I'll ask the person sitting with me, because I don't want to waste their whole reading if like somebody's passed that they really want to talk to. But I don't like doing that, so I try and get to it by myself. Tara says, what is the afterlife like? I think it's different for everyone, but the way to explain it that encompasses, I think, the most opinions of what I've heard of the other side is that it is home. It's that feeling that you get when you know you're somewhere you belong. There actually is... My guides are like, don't forget to mention the light. It actually is like, that's a real thing, like the golden white light. I don't know how else to explain it. It's like a white light that shines gold that kind of covers everything. To me, that's the energy of what I believe is God, whatever that higher energy you believe in. To me, that's that energy. But it really does cover everything. They also want me to mention there's colors there that don't exist here. Plants that don't exist here, words that don't exist here, structures, and I don't know what you're showing me. They're showing me like a see-through, like a prism, but like a, hang on. Yeah. See if I can get it. There you go, nice shot of my shirt. This shape, like a pyramid shape, but it's like crystal clear and shining and rainbows everywhere, and people can go in it. I don't know what that is, but so things like that can exist, and all that they need for them to exist is to think of them. Whereas here, we would have to build it. There, they just have to think of them, and they're there. Sorry, itchy nose. Doesn't that mean that there's dead people around when your nose itching? Danny Jacobson says, do spirits meet or interact with each other like our loved ones who have passed on? Example, a mother passes, then her son passes, and do they interact? Oh yeah, families all together over there. Because a lot of the time you're in the same soul family. So it's like going home with family too. And they're all together all of the time. They do go and... I told them to help me not fidget, and I'm just like fidgeting like mad, but it's because one of my guides is fidgeting like mad, making me fidget. Like I say, don't blame them, I'm the fidgeter, but no, I'm blaming them. Yeah, so no, everybody, all of your family will come together. People that you don't know or even your family, so extended family you've lived other lives with, all of your soul family is all together on the other side, and they take care of each other. So yeah, it's like the biggest family reunion you've ever been to times a million. Jennifer asked, do we hold on to events that have happened in our past lives? For example, I have a terrible fear of flying. It's like my body knows I'm going to die in a plane crash. Sorry, it's not funny, but I'm thinking of something else. If we do hold on to these traumatic experiences, what is the... and then it ends. I don't know why. I'm assuming that says, what is the purpose of that? Yeah, you can actually hold on to traumatic experiences, especially if you're living that life like right now. I'm laughing because I made the mistake of telling my husband that the reason he eats so freaking fast is because he's starved in another life. And now he's a big old baby, and always anytime he's eating fast and annoying me because I can't stand the sound of chewing, he says, oh, you can't get mad at me because I starved in another life. I'm just feeding myself because of that. So yes, it can carry over. And honestly, all you have to do is do a little bit of work to let go of it, and you will let go of it. You just have to talk to your higher self and talk to your guides and go, okay, like I recognize that I have no reason for this fear in this life, so I need that to be dealt with, and I need some help to do that. So just talk really honestly with your guides and just say, like, there's no reason for this fear to be here right now. If you haven't ever been in a plane crash or have a reason for it, talk about that with your guides, with yourself. And it's kind of like a trauma in this life. If you go through a trauma, you talk about it, you discuss it, you learn from it, and you move on from it. Do the same thing if it has to do with a past life. It's hard to realize that they can affect us, but all you have to do is talk to your higher self and say, hey, you're forgetting this is from a different life. It doesn't belong in this one, so you need to take that back, and it belongs to that other life. Cassandra says, do our guides only communicate in one way, primarily based on our personalities? Is there a way to accept other forms of communication? They can communicate in lots of ways. With me, I just talk to them. You're going to list them? So they can do the same things loved ones do, but the biggest way they communicate is gut instinct and intuition. That usually is your guides. Yeah. They say, well, don't make all the people sound stupid, like they don't have their own mind. That's not what I mean. No, of course you can make your own decisions. But they say that a lot of the time, sorry. I'm having a little, sorry. Okay, never mind. I'll explain that later maybe. They say listen to your gut and your intuition. A lot of the times that will be you making a decision, but if you're having a really hard time or you're really struggling or you're really stuck or you feel just really off and you ask for their help, they will help you. They will come forward. They'll give you that kind of gut intuition feeling. You can also just talk to them. The way you talk to them is you sit in a really quiet place. You need to make that questions very simple, yes or no, and you get in a quiet place, you sit with yourself, and you ask yourself that question. Should I take this job? As a human, you would go back and forth. Well, if I take the job, this would happen. If I don't, this will happen. Oh my goodness, you go back and forth. If you ask your guides that same question, the answer is instantaneous, yes or no. It'll sound like it's in your voice because you don't know how to listen to them yet, but it's yes or no, no wavering, no nothing. It doesn't mean that you have to go with that answer. They're just trying to tell you the best path for your soul. And again, I've said this so many times, the best path for your soul may not be the easiest one. So you still need to do the work to see where you're sitting and how you feel about it. Hey, oh, and I'm going to pause for a minute here. Everybody share this video right now, and then more people will come watch. All your friends can see it because I like lots of people and lots of interaction. So feel free to share it while I'm talking because then they can see it while it's live instead of seeing it after. Heather Finley says, my partner has been feeling like he keeps seeing shadows as he turns his head as if someone is there, but no one is. It's been happening quite often in the past couple months. And we just moved next to a graveyard. Could this be contributing? I don't know if living next to a graveyard would contribute because people are not in the graveyard unless their loved ones are there talking to them. Spirits are on the other side. Maybe in his head he's feeling like there's more around him because he's thinking that way. Or by a graveyard, so I think there's more spirits around. He's going to see that a little more. If he sees kind of stuff out of his peripheral, that's kind of where the other side exists. In your peripheral, if they're like kind of going by like that, it is spirits usually. If you don't like it, if he doesn't like it, he can just ask them to stop. If he does like it, he can ask them to do it in a different way. Like, okay, I'm okay with like if it's light out, you doing that, but once it gets dark, maybe not so much. And they'll listen. But rather than it being because of the graveyard, it's because his mind has shifted and he thinks that there's going to be more spirits near there. Wendy says, I lost my mom quite a while ago and always ask her to come see me. She doesn't. Is she around me? Yes, they're always around. And just because you can't feel them doesn't mean they're there. I'd like to think everybody can develop their abilities to some extent, but of course not everybody's like me. So it is hard to tune into the other side and really feel them around. And it's not for lack of trying. They are trying, but sometimes they don't necessarily know how, or they're not sending you signs that you're recognizing. Or right now you need to figure things out on your own, and them being around might change how you're learning something. So it's not that she's not around, she's around. It's just that right now, maybe that's not necessarily what you need, or you need to be a little more open with how you feel her. I think I answered this in the last one, no? Oops. No. Hope I didn't. I believe my Nana is sending myself, family, and friends dimes. However, my Papa, her husband, has never found one. Why? They'll send different things to different people. I think he can feel her around a little more than you can, so he doesn't need that overt sign as much because their bond is quite strong, whereas I think you all need a little more convincing. You're welcome, Nadine. Donna asks, if a loved one is lower in the watery part and meant to learn a lesson and someone has forgiven them, do they go to a higher energy? If someone here in the physical world has forgiveness for them or develops forgiveness for them after they pass, it does help them learn. It helps them move forward faster than if that person didn't forgive them. But they still have to reconcile within themselves what they've done in this human life, and so it can still take quite a while. Jan Stevens asks, how should I ask the universe and angels to come while I sleep with guidance? So you do I understand that? I think you mean like you want guidance while you're sleeping and you would like them to come while you're asleep if you can't hear them when you're awake. I think that's kind of what you mean. You just ask them. You just say, you know, it would be really great if you're struggling with something or thinking of something. If while I'm sleeping tonight, you could help impress on me which direction to go, that kind of thing. But our bodies also need sleep. I actually ask them to go away while I sleep so that I get into a really deep state of sleep. So you won't want to do that every night, but definitely you can ask for some guidance. Oh, hey, Paige. It says you joined. You found my page, Paige. Sarah Ringdahl asks, how can I ask my brother to visit me in my dreams more often? You just ask him. But again, you know, they... I have... Oh my God, he's being a little cheeky and says, well, you're not going to come every night. Like, you know, we got stuff to do over here too. But, you know, within a reasonable amount, they will come and visit you. You just... I don't like your answer. I don't like their answer because I think it's contrary to what I say most of the time. But they say, we chose to live this human life and have them on the other side, being on the other side. And so to have a ton of interaction all of the time, that's why I set timelines for how long. Like if somebody's coming to talk to a loved one that they were so close to and they want to come back every month, I don't see value in that because you're kind of maintaining a relationship with that person. My guides didn't say it that way. They said, like, you know, we got a life over here too, you know, we got stuff to do. They're joking. Really, they will always come and be with us when we need them. But you don't want it to become a habit because then your grief process kind of is changed a little bit. But definitely you just ask. And if he's not there, he's either doing something else, you're not remembering it, or maybe you're too tired and you actually just need some sleep. I wonder how much, oh geez, I'm like really behind. So it's not coming up live because I started scrolling so I don't miss any because I can't keep up with how fast. Michelle says, my mom passed away 3 years ago and several of my friends and my sisters have said that they have felt her near them. I live in her house and as of yet have not felt her presence, and it is a little uncomfortable knowing I can't see the rest of it. When they're too long, it won't show me anymore. No? I don't know. It doesn't show me anything after that. So I'm assuming it probably says you're like a little uncomfortable knowing she's visiting them and not visiting you. I think, you want me to say that? Isn't that a little personal? Michelle, they say, I think you need to be a little more open and work on your energy a bit. Your energy is a little lower than it should be, and when you're fighting that, it's really hard to feel anybody from the other side. So you just need to give your energy like kind of a gentle nudge in the right direction. And she says you do feel her. I don't want to channel now. I'll talk to guides. She says that you do feel her around, but you doubt that it's her because you need a concrete sign. So you need like a dime, or you need a picture moved, or a door slammed, or something like that. Not just a gentle feeling or a little goosebump or kind of like a bit of a tingling through your body. So you need to listen for the more subtle signs. So I get a lot of questions about, you know, I lost somebody and I never feel them around. 100% they're always around you. Without a doubt, anytime you're thinking of them. My sister told me to say this at the beginning and I forgot. So you were right, Michelle, because I got a lot more questions about this. They are always around. Anytime we think of them, they're going to come forward. They're going to be there for us. They're still interacting with us constantly. It's just us that don't feel them. Oh, hey, look at 75 people are watching. That's pretty cool. So I think you just need to be open and accepting of the fact that they are around. Your energy might not be at a point where you can feel them around. That's why people like me, I guess, exist. Like I said, that's not why you exist. I exist for a lot of other reasons than that. Not just to talk to dead people, but nice one. Can I move on? Sorry, they're very distracting sometimes. But yes, they're always, always, always around. Karen says it seems like a healing spot. My house? I don't know. Oh yeah, the itchy nose. Oh, I'm going to kiss a fool. Well, my husband's not here, so hopefully I'm not kissing any other fools. Tamara says, I've always had an awareness of knowing that I may be connected in some way to the spirit world. After my dad died, and then it ends. I think you maybe didn't finish your comment. Okay, I'll wait. Chris Orr says, what is the difference between hallucinations, hearing voices, and being a medium? Well, let me tell you, for a lot of my life, I didn't know there was a difference, and I thought I was nuts. So there is a huge difference. Hallucinations are something that does not exist. Hearing voices can be both. Sometimes it is the other side. Sometimes it is a mental illness, and there is a difference there. When I see somebody with a mental illness that thinks they are connected to the other side, I very clearly can see that it's actually a mental illness. Medication would not get rid of my gifts, whereas medication can help to deal with hallucinations and hearing voices. So there is a differentiation there. Sometimes if people try to access energies that are much higher than where they are supposed to be in life, it can put them into a manic state, which can cause hallucinations and hearing voices, and sometimes that will actually be the other side. But if medication can take it away, it's not being a medium. I don't feel at all mentally unwell. If anything, I feel more grounded, more connected, and more stable, and more calm than I ever did. If you think that you're a medium or a psychic or whatever, and you are feeling manic, and you are not calm and peaceful, and your heart is racing, and you're hearing things, that's when you maybe should get it checked out, see if there's something else going on. But I used to ask the other side and all these things I was seeing all the time, like, oh my gosh, am I crazy? Because I swear that I am nuts, because nobody else sees or hears any of this stuff. And that's why my husband hearing that, he doesn't have to hear it anymore, because I just needed that little bit of encouragement. But him hearing that helped me to move forward. So, her computer messed up. So Tamara says, I went to a medium and she told me to receive messages in my dreams. I need to pay more attention. Any advice how I might do this? You just have to be open to it. Before you go to bed, talk about how grateful. I practice a lot of gratitude at night, because sometimes at night I'm stressed out. So I practice gratitude. And once you start listing off all the things you're grateful for, you can really calm down. But you need calm, you need peace, and you need to not be too tired. If you're really tired, you're going to sleep. My one guy goes, you're going to sleep like the dead. I thought that was really funny. And they're still laughing. But you need to be quite well rested, which is hard when you're going to sleep. Danny says, if your energy is more open to feeling or sensing spirit without fear, does this mean you will always feel them? No. Just being open to it does not mean you will always feel them. I'm open to it, and I shut it down sometimes. Well, I shut it down a lot of the time, because I can't just be walking around seeing 8 million spirits all over the place. So no, it doesn't mean that. Some people aren't meant to really feel them. Unfortunately, their energy is not at a place, even if they're happy within themselves, where they can do that. And they wouldn't want you to feel them all the time, because you're here to be human and learn human things. What the heck? Karen says, do our guides travel with our loved ones that have passed? What do you mean? I don't know what that means. Travel with our loved ones that have passed? I don't know what that means. Does that mean, do they see them on the other side? They do see them on the other side, but I'm not, you might have to clarify that, Karen. Paige says, are spirits still around if the person was cremated as opposed to buried? Yes, of course. They're always around. They don't stay in their bodies. They don't care if you cremate it, bury it, if it's left out wherever. They don't care. There's cultures where they burn them or mummify them, whatever you do to them. It's just the physical body. They don't hang on to that. They don't exist there anymore. So yes, of course, their spirits are on the other side from the second they die, sometimes even a few minutes or hours before that. You're welcome, Donna. Dottie Bradley says, is my grandpa still with me? Oh, my dog heard something. Oh, something got you, Daisy. Again, yes, they're always with us. Always, always. Jan says, thank you. You're welcome. Why is it that... Oh, Christine said, this is a good question. Christine says, why is it that many of us could see spirits as children and now can't? Is there any way to get it back? As children, we're born with much more consciousness of the other side, and we grow out of it like we grow out of lots of things. So we're much more open to the other side. It would be a pretty lonely world to be a baby. You know, you can't do anything. You just have to lay there. You don't have a lot of opinion in what's going on in your life. So you're very connected to the other side. But it really is. It's not the social norm. It's not the cultural norm. But we stay connected to the other side for... I usually say the first 2 to 3 years. They say the first 5 years. We stay quite connected to the other side. And then we're meant to grow out of it so we can learn here. But they like to take care of us quite well when we're really young. Tracy says, I lost my niece over a year ago and would like to know, is she at peace? And is she my grandson's protector? Yes and yes. Easy answers. See, this is why some people have like another person here reading stuff to them, because it is, holy smokes, I've already been talking for almost 40 minutes. How is that possible? Lisa says, I can hear, see, smell the other side, but it happens randomly. I'd like to be able to talk more to them. How can I improve my communications with them? Will meditation help? You know, I don't know necessarily. If I tune into you, I probably would, but just in general, I was born this way, and it just kind of turned on as soon as I was ready to accept it. So I think just having acceptance and being patient that things are going to move at the pace they're meant to move at, not trying to force it or push it, because that never worked. For me, a couple of times in my life where I was like, okay, let me try this, trying to force it didn't work. Chris Orr says, for some reason I can't see long comments. I don't know. Maybe afterwards I will. If spirits you're speaking to are from other countries and speak other languages, do they learn English in the spirit realm so they can communicate with you? And I can't see the rest of your comment, but they communicate to me exactly how I'll understand them, and everything is telepathic. So even if I had somebody the other day that the passed over loved one would have a crazy strong Irish accent that I probably wouldn't understand if he was sitting with me, but they get rid of that to talk to me. They'll tell me they had an accent, so I very much knew he had an accent, but I could understand him. I've had people that spoke only Russian or only Spanish, and I knew everything because that's really hippie-ish. My guide says, because love is universal. It's a universal language, and that's how they speak. They speak through love, and so they just... by way of like thought osmosis. It's a weird way to put it. They say by way of like thought osmosis, they just put into my mind everything that I need to say to that person. That's kind of creepy. I don't know if I like that. I like the telepathy idea, but I just know exactly what to say regardless of what language they speak. The other side, everybody speaks the same language and everybody can understand, and so I get to use that ability when talking to people. So there's never somebody I can't understand, but they will tell me I spoke a different language or I had an accent. Catherine says, how do you give your energy a nudge? My sister feels my mom around, but I can't seem to. You just have to get comfortable with yourself and do things that make you happy and fulfill you, and let go of guilt and regret. That's one of the main things that holds somebody's energy down. You're welcome, Dottie. Adolfo says, I find it hard to believe this when you say the other side. What do you mean? Another dimension? How can energy have a conscience? That's a big question for just one little live video, Adolfo. I think maybe watching some of my other videos so you can see kind of what I talk about from the ground up. This one's a little more involved. The other side is the other side, heaven. Whatever it is that any religion believes in, that is where people go when they pass on. And all energy has a conscience, I think. But yeah, watch a few of my like YouTube videos. If you go to West Coast Medium on YouTube, you can watch them there, and they'll answer a ton of those questions. Marie says, can you tell us more about parallel lives? What other lives am I living? I won't tune into your lives in this because it takes time, and this is more of just a general Q&A. But parallel lives or past lives or other lives are just all other lives our higher self is living right now. That exist in the past, in the future, and in other dimensions. I think that's really hard for a human mind to grasp, and we're not all meant to understand it. So to some people, it'll be like I'm speaking Greek, and that is totally fine. And if that's something that doesn't speak to you or you can't understand, that's completely understandable. But we live many, many lives. Each one is like a small, week in school, and we have to live a lot in order to graduate from school and stay on the other side. I agree, Erin. Erin says, I don't want them around all the time, like when I'm going to the bathroom. No, they do give you privacy. They used to bug me in the shower all the time. Like, it drove me nuts because that was when I would be like calm and relaxed, and so they'd bug me in the shower. They don't do that anymore. So no, they have boundaries. Tammy asks, cremation or burial, is there a difference when we pass over? Is there a specific time when our souls actually separate from our body? Cremation and burial, no, it doesn't matter. The bodies don't really matter. There's no weight to the belief that if you donate your body parts that you're going to be without them on the other side. No, these are just like a vessel. It's like the envelope that the message comes in. I like that. Okay, that's what it is. And you can burn the envelope because the important thing was the message. I really like that. Well, I don't really like my body being called an envelope, but whatever. So no, yeah, the body really is just a body. And a specific time that the soul leaves the body, no. So some choose right at the moment of death. Some, if they're dying from a very painful illness, will choose to separate from their body a few hours before so they can listen to their family saying goodbye. Some, the moment of a tragedy, so like a car accident, even if they live for a few minutes after the car accident happens, their soul will leave their body before that. It all depends on what your higher self and yourself choose that you want to do. But definitely it's not leaving the body like a week before. It's within like a few hours, minutes kind of thing. Joe DiMaggio says, yo, West Coast, I like your hair. Thanks. How can I tell the ghosts to look the other way when I'm taking a pee or something? Seriously, this thought is disturbing. They don't bug you when you're in the bathroom. They don't bug you if you're being intimate with your partner, that kind of stuff. And you know what? Even if they did, you wouldn't feel it around. So don't worry about that. Those human things, don't bug them. They might bug you, though. Erin says what I said. I don't know what you said. Paige says, thank you for the reply. You're welcome. Jody says, you're fabulous. Love this. I keep turning on my computer and you were live. So you're feeling the energy. Yes, I bet you are. Me nudging you, being like, hey, pay attention. Erin says, I miss my dad so much. Wish I could see him again. You will. Well, you already are. Your higher self is with him. Just this human incarnation can't see him. But you definitely will. And he's with you. Jennifer says, do we have soul groups that we live each life with? Yes, we do have soul groups, soul families that we live each life with, but sometimes members from other soul families will come and choose to live a life with you so that you can learn from each other. So it's kind of a big, happy, extended family, but a lot of your closest bonds, a lot of the time, are from your direct soul family. Although sometimes you'll have like a husband come in that belongs to a different soul family or something like that, a child that might belong to a different soul family. Karen says, I'm wondering if the guides that help us are in the same spot as our loved ones that have passed. That's a good question. Yes, they're in the same spot because they're standing right here. So there's guides there. And because you all keep mentioning your loved ones, they're all standing in my room. same spot, different levels. So it's not that they exist somewhere different on the other side, but it's like they exist in the same place, but they go to different grades in school during the day. So guides have graduated. So they're on the other side. They're the highest energy. They're very easy for me to talk to. Spirits, loved ones on the other side can be all different energies. Some can be really easy to talk to, some not so easy to talk to, some can be confusing, some very clear. But they are in the same place, yes. Ronnie Ann Nidro says, I'm really struggling lately. A couple things in my life. I need direction on what to do. Be more patient with yourself. You're so hard on yourself. You just need to take a step back and say, it is okay that I am where I am, and I am going to move forward from this, because you are not patient, and your impatience causes frustration, which causes a negative cycle to continue to happen. Paolo says, I nearly died mid-March. I really wanted to see or feel something or someone, but just emptiness. Some people aren't meant to see something when they have a near-death experience because it'll cause them not to want to come back. And that's not where they're at in that life. So I'm going to assume that was an exit point for you. And had you seen the other side and felt what I feel every day, you wouldn't have wanted to come back. So they're actually probably doing you a favor. Lynn says, does my mom see our grandchildren? Of course. Amy says, do our spirit guides ever... and it ends. I'm assuming you press enter too fast. Do our spirit guides ever try to reach out and use or make themselves visible to us? They do try and reach out. They don't usually make themselves visible to us. Oh. They say sometimes they do, so sometimes you can see them in pictures and stuff. They'll be like white light or something like that. But it's more of a feeling with guides, because they don't necessarily need to be visible to us like our loved ones do. But they work more on feeling than actual visual seeing, but they will sometimes let themselves be seen. Lori says, how many guides do we have? Is there a boss? Are we able to build relationships with them? Yes, there is a boss. I call them the dominant guide. That's your main guide. And those are the ones I communicate with when you come and see me, because if they all talk at once, it would be too confusing. And everybody has different amounts of guides, anywhere from 2 to 10, although 10 is a whole lot. It's usually 2 to 4. Another person's asking about people that have passed on. Are they at peace, and do they watch their children? Of course they do. Lynn, that's a good question. Are there any other people in your family that have your gift? So there's nobody that has as many gifts as me that have developed them. But on my mom's side of the family, there definitely is an auntie, a cousin, and another... there's a couple of people that do have the gift of seeing spirits. They have not been interested in developing it, and so it has stopped at that. I am the first one in the last 150 years that has decided to 100% accept it and move forward with it. Thanks for that. That's a long time. Can you help me out and give me another person? But yeah, so it's been a long time since somebody in my family has truly accepted gifts like me. I don't want to toot my own horn, but right from the beginning of this, Spirit did say that I am somebody who has a very strong gift, and so there's not going to be a lot of people like me, but there are a lot of people that are different levels of where I'm at. I think it's okay. I toot my own horn once in a while. Dawn says, when you feel a chill run through your body, is that a loved one letting you know they are here with us? Sometimes it is, and sometimes it's not. If you get a feeling it is, then yes, it is. Erin says, how can I meet you? Right now, I'm actually completely full. I'm not taking any bookings. I'm booked till the end of June. And I just can't plan my life past that. It's too hard. I'm a stay-at-home mom. And so eventually I will be booking into September. In the summer, I'm just going to post on my page randomly, hey, I have a reading spot for tomorrow, because we plan to do a lot as a family this summer. So when I can squeeze it in, I will. But I will be making things in September available. That's why I'm doing the live event. I know that not everybody will get a reading at that, but they'll at least get to meet me. I'm hoping to do a little Q&A. I'll mingle a little bit afterwards for half an hour or an hour. So that's probably your best bet right now. But I will, hopefully in the next couple of months, be opening up the fall. But I haven't wrapped my human mind around that, and I need to move at a pace that doesn't make me have panic attacks. No, I don't have panic attacks, but I do get really uncomfortable. Michelle says, is there such a thing as being an old soul and a young soul? Yes, there definitely is. I don't know if you've all noticed, but I'm a very, very old soul. I'm nearing the end of the lives I will live as a human. And definitely I've met very young souls. They're not always who you think they would be, though. I have a sister that's a bit of a younger soul, not really young, but a bit younger. But they're not always the people... They say that, I don't want to say that. They say that they're not the screw-ups, you know, like the people that just can't get out of their own way and make so many mistakes and all of that kind of stuff, because a really young soul would not plan such a hard life, you know, being drug addicted or something like that, because they wouldn't be able to survive it. They would take an exit point really early. The young souls actually they live easier lives. They don't have a ton of troubles. They're just getting the hang of this human thing. And so it's not always who you think is a young soul and who we would think like, oh God, they must be a young soul because they have not got it figured out at all. Really, Chris? Is that your question? Was Jesus the original zombie coming back from the dead on Easter? Why do you think he decided not to stay in the spirit world? He decided not to stay in the spirit world at that time because he still had more to teach. He was a teacher at that point rather than a learner so much, and he still had more to teach. Lisa says, all those people dying from drug overdoses, are they coming back to Earth to redo their problem lives? Are they in heaven? They are in heaven. They are learning. But contrary to, again, popular belief, they also are teaching a lot. Think of how much each person that struggles with addiction has taught their family, their friends, their loved ones, healthcare providers. They are teachers. So that actually makes them an older soul because they're living a very, very hard life. So the next time you see somebody struggling like that, smile at them, say hello, brighten their day, because you never know, their soul might be more enlightened than yours, even if you don't think so. That was my one guide that must specialize a little bit in addiction because she's got a real soft spot. Wow, why did everything just go pink? Did anybody else notice that? I'm pink. Huh, weird. It was you. Well, don't mess with the screen. Did it mess with everybody else's? Don't mess with the screen. I don't like being pink. That's her soft spot and her heart for people that are having struggles with addiction. Let's see. Holy. I'm going to go forward a little to make sure. Thanks for the answers. Can you tell us? Pauline says, can you tell us about when you have used your gift of medical healing? So I will talk about one thing that do I have time to talk about this? I have a couple minutes. So I actually haven't talked about this before, but I got the okay from the people that this happened to. And I don't want this. Are you sure you want me to talk about this? So this is because this was something that was meant to happen, not because I am some miracle worker. I had a friend who's a man who had cancer, and he was going to go for chemo. And he went for his first chemo, and something like there's a 1% chance of people will react to chemo in a negative way, and it actually shuts down your body, it shuts down your lungs and your internal organs, and there's almost a 0% chance of survival. It happens within 24 hours of the chemo, and most of the time you don't make it to the hospital. Well, he made it to the hospital and got put on life support, but his body was shutting down. He was in a medically induced coma. His organs were shutting down, and I offered just to go and just see if there was something I could do, because at that point I had not done healings. I'd never done anything. And so I went, I put my selenite in his hand, and rather than trying to heal him, I tried to talk to his soul, and I just explained to him that I could feel this was not when he was supposed to leave, so this would be an exit point. And I knew him personally and knew that he was quite a perfectionist. If you guys are watching, hi. And so I just spoke to his soul and said, like, this is like dropping out of high school. If you die now, if this kills you now, it's like dropping out of high school. And I guess I might get a little foggy of timeline, but they had said he would be in this coma for quite a while, 10 days, 2 weeks, 3, if he did come out of it. He woke up within 24 hours, I think, and is back home. I don't know if that's changing his path too much, because as far as I know, he still has cancer and now he can't have chemo, but he didn't die when that exit point was. I've done a lot of energy healings on people, so people that are having a ton of anxiety, they'll come to me. I cannot take it away forever, something like anxiety, if it's something you're meant to go through, but I can give you a respite from it. So I can ask Spirit to take it for a week or 10 days, something like that. I've done healings on my family members. My mom has a bad shoulder, so Spirit was able to take it away for a week, because if you take it away and the injury is still there, because the injury is because of something she's doing repetitively at work, then it might get worse if she's not feeling the pain from it. So if it's not meant to, like something like that, where you're working in a position that's going to continuously re-injure, I could heal that 50 times and it's going to keep getting re-injured. So, they say, I don't know if you want to say this, because then people are going to doubt you, but I still doubt my healing abilities, and so for me it's much easier to heal an energy than a physical thing. But I've also done a couple of healings that didn't work because they were meant to go through that. Oh, Jen, I gave you goosebumps. That usually means, yeah, it's just because there's so much spirit. A lot of people like me will pre-curse their videos saying, like, there's going to be an energy shift, because there usually is, but that everybody's going to remain in their bodies, within themselves, and stay grounded and centered, because you can feel quite an energy shift when you tune into something like this. Can you guys make my screen not pink? I don't like it. It's not funny. Let's see. You say, yeah, Donna, you see the pink too. I don't like it. Let's see. I'm going to skip a few that the people have asked quite a few questions, so I can try and get to some that haven't asked questions. What did I do? I did something. If a past loved one pops into your head, how can you tell the difference between if it's just train of thought or if they're actually saying hello? If you feel they're saying hello, they're saying hello. If you don't feel they're saying hello, then they're probably not. Just go with what you feel. All right. I think the questions have slowed down. I missed a few. Lynn says, both my daughters and grandchildren also have seen spirits. Yes, I don't doubt that they have. They probably have. Pauline says, why do spirits need to learn the things that they come to human life for? Because you can't learn it on the other side. The other side is perfect. It's love, it's happiness, it's all of those things. So they actually want to come here and learn the hard things. To them, oh, that's nice. That kind of trivializes. My one guide's like, it's fun to come and be a human, and they actually get really excited about it. I know my higher self is enjoying me going through this and learning, because in the last 15 months, 16 months, I have learned, I say I should watch what I say. I have learned a crap ton. That's how I talk. I really have. I have learned so much about myself, about the people around me, and about where I fit in this world. I've learned that I do fit, and that's an amazing lesson in and of itself. So it really is worth it to learn all these lessons, even if they're hard. Any more questions, or are we almost questioned out here, people? If you're married when you have passed away, do you have to get a divorce in the spirit world if you grow apart and want to date other people? Divorce and marriage don't exist. Oh, nice. That would be for if you're in hell. They don't really exist. Your bonds are much stronger than that on the other side. You don't need marriage or divorce. And actually, it's kind of icky, and I think I said this in my last video, but your wife or husband in this life might actually be more of a sister or brother or parent bond on the other side. It might not be a husband-wife bond. So it might be very different. Yes, Amy, you are an old soul. I think I've talked for a long time now. Holy, it's been an hour. So I'm hoping that I can do another YouTube video soon. I think the good thing about YouTube is it's easy for everybody to access. It's not a live thing, so you don't feel like you're kind of left out if you didn't catch it live. So I'll try, I think, and get another YouTube video, but it actually is really hard to do them because I have to get all the questions together from all the different places people send them to me, and then I have to get them in a cohesive order. And I do not have a technological thing set up, so actually I like make a mountain of things to balance stuff because I don't have a tripod, when really I probably should just buy a tripod, but I don't have a tripod, so I just pile everything up. So yeah, I think I need to work on a little better setup, and I'll try and get some YouTube videos out. If you do want tickets to my live event, there's still a few available. I want to say 24 of them or something like that. So yes, definitely just message me if you want that. I don't have actual physical tickets. I'm just writing people's name on a list that will be at the door. I'm really excited for it. My guides are even more excited. They can't wait. And hopefully I'll be able to do these live ones more often. This time at night seems to work a little better for people, so I'll try, but anyone who knows me knows I am so not a night person. Weird, the comments kind of stopped coming in, so I don't know if you guys aren't commenting or if they just stopped. But anyways, I probably should get going. Thank you all for tuning in, for watching. I really enjoyed it. And I really like, my guides really like doing these videos. The one thing I think probably in these live videos I won't do as much is connect to individual spirits, because it can be very, very distracting, and then it's hard to focus in again on my guides. You're welcome, everybody. Oh, now they're all coming in. Oh, where am I? I am in Nanaimo, which is on Vancouver Island in BC in Canada. So yeah, that's where I am. Oh, weird. It must have, maybe my service went out for a minute because I stopped getting all of your comments. You're welcome, everybody. Thank you for all the thank yous and all that. I get to see when you do like a little heart, I get to see them go across the screen. So thank you for watching. Thank you for participating. It's really fun to answer all of your questions. I hope I answered them well. And yeah, I love all your participation on the page. The more you show this video, the more activity I get on the page, so that there's more people watching and more people to interact with. So yeah. Oh, you're welcome, everybody. Look at all you nice people saying thank you. Hello from Saskatchewan. All right. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your night. Thanks for all the little hearts. Bye.